the way I approach my networking when I am trying to learn from other people is that sometimes the people I'm learning from are so far high level or too far away from me that I haven't earned my right to set a table yet to introduce myself. So what I do is I start engaging with what they put out online. So I actually put myself almost like, because online is essentially, that's a cocktail table. That's where everyone leaves their comments, they talk. That's the water cooler in the office where everyone just chit-chats. So if I see one of the people I want to study and I'm learning from post a video on YouTube, I'm going to comment on it. I'm going to like on it. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and instigate someone to comment on my comment. And I'll do that on LinkedIn. I'll do that on Instagram. And by doing that, I am networking with other like-minded individuals who see this person as an authority figure who's also learning off of them. So this goes back to what you just said about whoever you're around, you kind of all start having the same personality types or interests. And so that's how I network into it, because eventually so many people say that you post something on YouTube and I keep commenting on it. So many of whoever your fan base is, Sam, they notice Romi's always here. He's one of us. So let's start talking with him. And as you recognize that your fan base is starting to interact with me more, you start being, who the hell is Romi? And you start looking forward to whenever I comment on your stuff or whenever I repost your stuff on LinkedIn. Yeah. Because you're like, Romi's, even though I don't know him yet, he's always engaging with me. And so now my brain is getting piqued. I want to kind of know what's up with Romi.
I'm sorry, were you still?
No, that's all I had, yeah.
I think what you just said was very key. And I noticed that, like, you brought up the online perspective, which I need to actually tap more into that. When I network, I love doing more in person. And I love doing more in person, one, because I'm a very social guy. And like, I just feel like when I walk in and I'm interacting with people, it makes me feel like essentially like happy. Like I feel like, you know, you know what I mean?
You feel the energy in the room.
I feel the energy in the room. And I think that I'm able to read people like better, because online, although I think online networking is absolutely essential, especially in this day and age, right? I know that people can cover up who they are sometimes. Like you can show me what you want online. Like you can show me how you want me to perceive you. But when I meet you in person, some people are good at faking the funk, but other people, what I'm getting from them is completely real, and I'm able to get a better read of who they are. And I'd rather get that read in person, although online is very, very good and essential. I like to get that read in person because now I feel like I really know what I'm getting into, and I'm able to cultivate a better relationship if I want to continue this. And I think it ends up working out better because you remember everything. Think about, like, as human beings, you know, we have the 5 senses, right? Like touch, taste, smell, hearing, right? All that good stuff. And so I get a better sense of you as an individual, you know, not that I'm going to taste you. That's weird, right?
You took it the weird way. I didn't think of that. That was you.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to get a better sense of who you are. And that's like one of the approaches I have towards networking. I know you do a lot of online networking. How do you feel when you are transitioning to the in-person networking? Yeah,
I'm very selective for any in-person networking events, because I've learned that whenever it's a lot of just networking, everyone's there is just trying to promote themselves. So there's no real sincerity in it. So I don't have any conviction in it, because I know that you're just trying to get something out of this, not necessarily create a relationship with me. But I do recognize if I go to the ones that I enjoy going to are where I know that most of the people who attend this, they have skin in the game. So whenever they say stuff, they're not just trying to posture with me. And then because of that, I have to hold myself accountable and not try and puff my chest up towards them. So I try and find those networking events more. And it's usually like very smaller groups, like, hey, we're just going to talk about or mastermind about what we're trying to do for this event, or what we're trying to do for real estate or wholesaling, or what we're trying to do for promoting events. We're just going to meet up, maybe have 8 or 10 of us at this one restaurant and just chit chat and shoot the shit. And those are usually the ones where I'm like, yeah, I want to go to that, because the smaller the group, I found that it's easier to actually see the sincerity, see if you're true, you're not just faking the fluff, and then actually build a stronger relationship, which later on will just follow up with social media or online. And it's kind of a full circle, because the way I find these smaller networking events is online, because I see other people who are commenting on the mentors I look up to. I'm like, okay, we see each other, always engaging. What are you about? And then this is why I like online a lot, because I could watch your stuff for an extended period of time and I don't have to owe you anything, right? Because if I'm in person with you, there's almost an immediate transaction or interaction that has to be made. Whereas online, I could see what you're posting and you could be commenting and we could be DMing back and forth, but I don't owe you, I don't feel I owe you anything yet. I don't have to make a decision on you that I want to engage in you with a stronger relationship. I could do that 3 or 6 months later and be like, hey dude, I've been seeing that you've been talking about all of these. I saw a lot of your successes. I even saw you share about where you got your ass whooped, but then how you tried to come back from it. I want to actually build a relationship with you.
You just gave an interesting take. There was a few different things that you said. I'm gonna just work my way through the different points. In respect to what you said, I think that's where networking, that twofold relationship of online and in-person, really comes into play, and blending those both is important, because I know you said in person you feel like you have to have like an immediate transaction. Is that what you said?
Yeah, transaction, and not necessarily a transaction of like, hey, pay for this and get this.
Yeah.
But more of a like immediate response. I say something out loud and I'm seeing an immediate response physically, non-verbally, or verbally.
So I think you don't necessarily have to build anything with a person that you meet in person right away. I think it could just be you getting a sense of them, and what's that is that, and you can follow it up with an online engagement. Like if I meet someone new and we end up just exchanging contact info, where maybe we become friends on Instagram or LinkedIn, now I already have a face to the name, and I'm also able to kind of observe how you are online. In addition to what I've already gathered in person, I can see whether there's some dissonance, like whether it adds up, or I can see like where it's, you know, oh, everything seems to still be in alignment with what you portrayed in person. And I think I'm able to get like a better feel of the individual. Like I can see more of the day-to-day, and I can see how you carry yourself in a social setting. And I like that aspect. The other thing I was going to say about the online, that you made a good point, which was the whole being able to study the person. Like I think that that's actually the real value of the online thing, as opposed to just it being online. But I do encourage the in-person networking, and I don't think that the in-person networking has to just be like a, hey, I met you, I want something, you have something, let's just take from each other, and that's that. I don't think it has to be like that. In fact, the best networking that I've done has been relationship building that had nothing to do with, hey, you have contacts in your arena that I need. It's been like, we just kind of found common ground. We liked each other. We like, hey, yeah, ha, ha, had some laughs and got to know each other personally. And then over time, continued to build relationship. To me, that's the ones that matter most, because it doesn't come off as I'm just here just to suck something from you. I'm here to actually appreciate you as a person, and that person is gonna then have you top of mind when certain opportunities come up, because they're like, yo, you as a person would be a great fit for this right here. I've already vetted you out because I got to get to know you on a personal level, and because my name is attached to anything I recommend, I'm not going to recommend you unless I actually believe you would be a good culture fit or whatever it is for everything. So I would definitely say we have to change our mindsets towards networking. It's not just I'm just here to get something from you, but also it's get to know people. And I think and that's a really good point, because when I say I don't like a lot of networking events, it's because I could tell a lot of people are not coming with that mindset. They're just coming from a mindset of how can you advance me versus, hey, let's actually have a relationship. And so the ones where I actually have great networking experiences, it's where people are just gathering together. For me, usually it's a smaller group base, because it's way more niche specific, so everyone's really trying to help each other out. And then if it's a large one, it's where everyone, for the most people, have been vetted before they get invited to the networking event, to be like, hey, you're adding value. You're not going to take first. You're going to add value to our group. Gotcha.
And so Yes, I like that you warn people like, hey, networking is important. I 100% agree. But I also, at the same time, look at it as a way like, how can you find people who have similar mindsets as you and aren't looking for a transactional, what can you do for me type of thing. How they look at abundance mindset, how they could add on to it.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? We want to continue to bring you this great content. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and click that notification bell so you stay up to date on the latest content. Let's get back to the episode.
I also use Zoom a lot. I do a lot of FaceTime and Zoom networking with other people too. And it's not necessarily in person, but it's a great way to just do a one-on-one, or even you have, digital coffee with people, and you could have a group coffee date or whatever, and people could network that way too. I think one of the biggest things to also recognize when it comes to networking for personal growth is identifying people who are positive. Their mindset is very positive. So I talk about online a lot because that's where I'm at. But if I see you always posting or complaining about something about woe is me, something that's kind of eliciting some type of engagement online for something that sucks for you versus you trying to find a way to overcome it. If all you're ever posting about is that the world sucks, I'm going to cut you out. You are not someone I want to network with. And so that's how I actually vet a lot of the networking events I go to, is by seeing people who are talking about failing forward. Seeing people who are talking about they got punched in the gut, it sucked, but this is what they learned from it. People are talking about their wins and their successes as well. Yeah. And it's like, it's real stuff where you're like, okay, you're someone who I want to be associated with. And it's like, I'm just going through a lot of vetting process essentially. Yeah. But I also do this in person. If I see that you're in a in-person networking event, and you're literally just going to each single person, hi, nice to meet you, I'm from so-and-so, blah, 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 here's my card, see you later. Automatically, I'm like, your card's in the trash. Like, I've already vetted, even though if I think about it money-wise, it would make sense for us to talk, you're not part of the core values that I want to be associated with because of the way you're talking to other people. Yeah.
So I could probably count on my hand how many networking events, like network-specific events I've been to. Like, this is our core purpose of just networking. I could count on my hand, specifically because I don't do that. Like, my networking is typically more organic.
Yes.
And I don't even.
That's the best networking.
It's the best networking.
Yeah.
I don't even think of the networking as networking. I think a lot of people are afraid of networking because they think of it as like, crap, I'm here for this specific reason at this specific time to give this specific card.
Yeah, like speed dating.
Exactly.
Right?
It's like speed dating. And that's the reason why you're going to be like, oh, you know what, I'm not going to do it. Is because I think we should substitute in our minds networking for just relationship building.
Yeah.
If you do that,
I like that.
That becomes more effective because now, what would I do if I'm on a date with somebody? I'm going to get to know you. So if somebody tells me, oh yeah, they're doing this or whatever, like when I'm at networking events or if I'm just at an event, I'm like, what made you do that? Oh, like, why was that so important to you? I'm like just getting into you, right? And people love to speak about themselves, right? Even if they don't say, oh, I love speaking about myself, or maybe they never even answered that question before. But the power of me asking you certain things like that, even if you didn't think too hard about why it was that you did something, once you end up verbalizing it to me, I, in a way, just added value to you because I helped you reflect in real time on what you were doing and may have even reinforced your love for what you were doing. Mm-hmm. And so you may associate me with that idea.
Or associate you with that good feeling.
With that good feeling, excuse me, yes. Yeah. With the good feeling, which is one of the powers of actually wanting to get to know people. Because even like when you think about sales or anything like that, it's really not about what you know, it's about how you make people feel. Yeah. Right? And that's
Maya Angelou right there. I think that's her quote.
Is that
it's not what about you right? What you write is about how you make people feel, or something like that.
Well, there it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that that's really the power of. I'm not even going to say networking. I'm going to say relationship building. It's I care about you, you care about me. We genuinely get to know each other, and in turn, we're going to be adding value to one another.
Yeah. And I want to ask you a question. Whenever you ask all these questions towards that person, showing sincere curiosity about them, how often do you hear later on like, oh, hey, so-and-so was asking about you?
Oh, I hear that all the time. Yeah. All the time.
Same.
Right? Like I'll go with my wife to her ballroom events and she'll let me know, hey, so-and-so missed you. They were asking like, where were you? And in my mind, I didn't know that person was gonna be even thinking about me, because I'm like, this person is very successful in their respective industry.
Yeah.
They have so many different things that they're, like they're task oriented. They have so many different things. Why is it that you've thought of me?
And not to mention, probably when you interacted with them, you're just doing the normal thing.
Doing a normal thing.
You're not even consciously thinking about networking or building a relationship. You're just genuinely curious about them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And just wanting to learn. I think that's one of the biggest things, like in terms of like tying this back with the personal development, how I was saying how like I'll have a curiosity. It's that C word right there, that curiosity that allows for me to ask you about you and to continue to learn, because we're all on a journey in life, right? Not to sound cliche or too deep, like, or philosophical, but we're all on a journey. And in that journey, it requires discovery. You're going to discover things whether you want to or not. And so kind of being intentional about that discovery process and being able to ask those questions, it gives you a sense of control, right, of your life, right? Like you feel like you're getting out of certain things what you want to get out of them, and two, to me it builds up confidence, right? Like it builds up confidence because we all don't know everything in life, but the people that I'm having relationship with, they know a lot about things that I don't know, and you're literally helping to develop me. I'm literally learning through you what I like and what I don't like. I'm learning through you, right? And that comes through having relationships. And so that is very, very key, having relationships. What about you? I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
No, what about me about what?
Wait, what were you going to say?
I was about to wrap up the episode.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead.
Well, I think that was a really good conversation of just starting to introduce everyone to thinking of how networking is really just relationship building, and how relationship building actually helps us towards our personal growth. Do you have anything to add to that?
No. That's it. That's it. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Hopefully you have learned the power of relationship building, aka networking. And if you got great value out of this content, please share this with someone else who you are working on building a relationship with. And until next time, Mindset Rebooted.
Sometimes when things go wrong, you can't blame life. Cause when you shot your shot, what was your aim like? What were you targeting? Cause if it ain't right and you still go with it, then that is on you.